think thank you first of all ATBFSI for having us over here, and fantastic morning so far, except the terrible head cold I have. So if you can't hear me at the back well, or if I sneeze a few times on stage, please pardon me. Here we are about to talk about the other side of digital, right? So every coin has got these two sides. So we heard about Digital India, so enthused about hearing, from State Finance Ministry senior bureaucrats about things like the volumes of, accounts, the volume of DBTs, how India is marching forward in all directions, right? So we're very proud for that. But the flip side to digital, which is about hyper-connectedness, right? No company is operating in a silo these days. Everybody has to connect to something else or the other. The flip side is risk, because the digital pathways, which is typically the internet, which you take for your transactions, the same pathways are taken by the bad guys or the cyber adversaries. So how do you march forward? Because there's only one way. How India goes more digital, be it enterprise, be it government, be it all sorts of non-profits, whatever, but also maintain safety, security, and compliance. We just passed the data privacy law in this country, so there would be onerous responsibility upon us, data fiduciaries, right, so that we keep customers' data private, secure, and safe. So when we talk about digital transformation, absolutely cliched word. Typically, I used to be a CIO in the past before this role in Zscaler for the last 4 years. I used to run IT for a financial services conglomerate in India, and my mandate for digital transformation was always focused mostly towards the customers. For example, am I giving them more channels of communication? Are they able to transact digitally? Am I getting things first time right? My time to service customers, is it coming down over time? Is my customer satisfaction scores? It's all customer, right? But the same also goes even for people who are working for the company, because your employees, your business partners, they are the kind of brand ambassadors, right? So when you talk about app transformation, that's where we think when we think about digital transformation. We also need to think about how people are working today. Okay, how are they connected to applications? Is it the most optimal way? Is there risk involved? So application transformation can only go hand in hand when you also take network and security transformation into the picture, and the three put together makes for a successful transformation of digital business. A picture fairly common to large companies over here. I'm sure I had one. So this is not from banking finance. This is from a large automotive player in Japan, and but this is the typical complexity in every enterprise network today. Okay, so many points of presence, be it sales offices, your company headquarters, warehouses, logistics hubs, factories, so on and so forth. Everything was kind of connected through this proprietary corporate WAN, right? Let's say MPLS, for example, or point-to-point links. And it got more and more complex as data exploded. We just heard from the previous speaker how data is exploding, real-time data is exploding. How do you manage all this growth through tethered networks, which you have set forth, right? The other part was, why was it this architecture? That every kind of office is piping back all bytes of data into a central, let's say, data center before it accesses either internet or applications and all, right? The reason was because you could not allow the data to go free of inspection. And all your security was actually tethered in the data center, right? That's the moot point why you had to bring everything back into the DC, right? But now, let's take a pre-COVID and the kind of a post-COVID, hopefully, world. Where does your data lie? Where are your applications? And where are your users, right? They've all gone hybrid. They've all gone everywhere, okay? Public cloud usage. I don't know if you can hear some stats from the likes of Google Cloud, AWS, or maybe Amazon. What is the growth of that data? It's humongous, I'm sure, for a country like India. But at the same time, our internal data centers, they're thinning out. because we are relying more and more on public cloud applications like SaaS, email, collaboration, messaging, things like Teams, Zoom, right? These have become a day in, day out feature of our work life. It was never there. I mean, we had always tried to do digital stuff, in my past life, but you can only kind of, create a, kind of pond, but that horse may or may not drink, right? So, but now the horse drinks every day, all the time. So when your applications are out there in the public cloud, when your users are everywhere, kind of roastering between office, between home, they're traveling, how do you kind of, bring all of this together in a network like this? You are bound to face challenges, hiccups, choke points, bottlenecks, because you can't beat physics, right? I mean, the fastest path, for example, the speed of light, you can't beat that. So can you take traffic from the consuming users or devices to the destinations in the least path, okay? But at the same time, apply security. So that was the holy grail, which was kind of thought. And I will tell about Zscaler. We're about a 15-year-old company. But that was the dream. Because back in 2007, Jay and a team of initial engineers, they had thought that soon there will be a world where computing would be rentable and users need freedom and flexibility to work from anywhere, okay? So security cannot be tethered only to fixed places like data centers. They cannot be in appliance footprint, which has fixed capacity. Things have to be at a cloud scale and at the edge, very close to where users are, very close to where applications are. I mean, cyber attacks, this is nothing new, but what is new is the type of recent attacks. Let's talk about software supply chain attacks, okay? It started off with, I think, SolarWinds about two years back. Then we saw things like Log4j. Absolutely, kind of open source Java libraries being used by millions of applications, right? But then the backend itself has been kind of Trojanized, right? So how do you know that today the software bill of material? For example, we heard in the opening keynote how we are building everything on open source and everything, which is great from a cost point of view, TCO point of view. But what about the risk? So everything has to be looked into today, and that's the genesis of zero trust. Things like, we have seen this in our own country. For example, when we want to kind of go forward on digital, we feel so proud. But all these things, for example, the attack on AIMS, not once but twice, successive attacks on power utility companies, national critical infrastructure. This can actually pour cold water into all of our digital goals and ambitions, right? So how do we prepare for a world like that? Why are these things failing us? Because frankly, in this kind of busy digital business, there are too many points of interconnectedness. How employees are connecting, how your third parties are connecting. Today, most companies I talk to, they're all running hackathons. They're all working with a few kind of startups who are joining in with their own assets. There's some of them using, let's say, Apple devices. They're connecting to your network, to your public cloud infrastructure, doing stuff for you. How do you know that everything is safe and secure? Same goes for your business partners and all, right? So typically, if I have to talk about how attacks happen, where they originate and how they propagate, there's this MITRE-kill chain, okay? It actually came from physical warfare. Where they, first of all, they want to do a recon on you, okay? You're a great company, you're doing very good, you're in the public domain. So attackers know that, right? And they will do a recon on you and find out how exposed you are today. What all kind of public IPs you have for various applications which resolve to the open internet. Are there vulnerabilities there? Are there known CVs there, right? And also, gone are the days when attackers had to be class A kind of coders, right? Today, you have got ransomware as a service. There's an e-commerce for getting ransomware tools on the dark web. There's e-commerce site for getting phished credentials. I mean, we all know that our username, passwords, and the like, a lot of it has been compromised, right? And it's all out there. So you don't even have to do a brute force attack to jack somebody's password and get into systems. Maybe it's available, who knows? Okay? So first is they find you, and that means the attack surface. Now the concern here is how big that attack surface should be. Probability says if it is less, there's a high chance that they don't find you, okay? So essentially, it should always be, how do I minimize how much I'm showing? It's like this kind of a thing, joke in our personal life, okay? We put up on Facebook, hey, I'm in Sydney with my family, wonderful, weather here. I'm here for a month. It is giving a, signal to the attacker, go and raid my home and escape with my, stuff, right? So show as less as possible about you, okay? Second is, what is the weakest link? Unfortunately, it's all human beings. We are all human beings. We all are prejudiced. So, doing social engineering on us, sending us crafty emails, crafty messages, and now with all this ChatGPT, Gen AI, all these things are getting so refined. You can't read an email today and say with 100% conviction that this is a genuine email or it's something, fake. Same goes with news. Same goes with so many things, right? One click and you are done. One single kind of, click, the attacker, can come into the network and then they can propagate laterally. There's a third phase. So they find you, they compromise you, they propagate laterally to find other juicier assets, right? What is the final thing? What are they after? Gone are the days when the attackers only wanted to encrypt your systems and demand ransom. Today they're after your data. So they want your data fast because they also know that you've got backup systems, you can always recover them and you can start production. What about the data? That can go to competition, they can name and shame you, they can send it out on the dark web. So that's a typical kill chain. And ideally, you should have controls, visible controls, easy to deploy controls, easy to manage controls across all these layers of a kill chain. And that's what we call about a zero trust architecture. Okay, don't go with any kind of a implied trust. Everybody has to earn their trust for every session, going to every application, okay? And that's what Zscaler has been kind of building. So we have this cloud security as a platform which we have developed over the years, and that's available globally, about 150 odd points of presence across the world, various ones in India as well, so that wherever your users are, your business partners are, if they want to access your applications, if they want to access internet, we are like a switchboard in the sky, okay? So we get that traffic and we apply all of your security checks and controls. Is it malware free? Or are you leaking out some intellectual property, sensitive data out to the public cloud or other destinations? And by the way, it is not only about user. That was the first 10 years of our existence. But then we find that just the way users need security, same thing is required by all your other stuff, like your workloads, for example. Today you are working on multi-cloud, right? You are running sandboxes, you have put up stuff on VPCs, VNets across Azure, AWS and all. They're all talking to each other. Even they need security. And same goes for factory systems. For example, now 5G is upon us. 5G has got this private 5G service, right? So enterprises can run 5G, and which means that things are going to run much more faster over the wire, which means you also need to have faster controls, which you can apply. In a nutshell, I don't want to get into details because of paucity of time, but what does this architecture do? It ensures kind of, it's identity-driven architecture. So first it understands who you are you authorized? Where are you trying to go? Is the destination safe? How do I connect you? Do I give you native access? Or maybe I can just isolate that access only for that session. So various kind of decisions can be taken at cloud scale at split second. What are the benefits? So obviously we improve the security for companies, but there are some very nice kind of happy byproducts. One is user experience. I told before, because we connect you on the least path, right? We don't hairpin you through data centers and all, which means you get fantastic user experience along with great security. And also, this is easier to manage. Imagine every company, worth its size, has about 30, 40, 50 different security products today. How do you integrate them all? How many vendors you manage? How do you ensure that all their logs are coming, getting correlated for you to do threat hunting? So that's difficult. Are we the whole soul in the zero trust ecosystem? We are not. Obviously, we partner. For example, on the identity side, we partner with the likes of Microsoft, Ping, various things. We also partner with kind of networking companies for them to streamline data and send it to us. So all these endpoint controls, SD-WAN technology, etc. We have also chosen our data centers very judiciously so that we peer with very high capacity with all the internet exchanges and with large cloud platforms. That's another secret sauce why user experience is often better with Zscaler. Coming to the end of it, I mean, when you think about zero trust security, think about a internal combustion engine car and electric car, okay? One side, 2,000 components, 2,000 moving parts, complexity, 20 moving parts in an electric car. So fundamentally, the architecture is different. And unless the architecture is good, you can't build a skyscraper. The foundation has to be rock solid, right? Secure your users, secure your factory systems, secure your workloads. Of course, sounds like a tall order. What to do? Where do I start? Okay, like in COVID, most of the companies started with remote users because they had to empty their offices. So how do I ensure that my remote user working from home, they don't have my firewall, they don't have my proprietary network there, but are they safe and secure, right? Or how are they connecting? So you can start from there and then build zero trust as a journey, as a roadmap, phase by phase. Happy to talk more. We are having our customer event, Zenith Live in Mumbai in this month, later this month. Absolutely, would be wonderful to see some of you there. If not, my team is here. We can have one-on-one discussions, going forward. Thank you very much, and have a good event.